I am back to talk some baseball. We got the Phillies and the D-backs and the Astros versus the Rangers in both LCS games. Let's go. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven, and we are back to talk some freaking baseball. It seems like it's been a year since I've talked baseball just because we took a few days off. But we're back, and we got two games to talk about, NLCS Game 1 and ALCS Game 2. Who had the Phillies, D-backs, and Rangers Astros as their final four teams in Major League Baseball? Probably not many. And based on all the bets you guys put on for that $50 giveaway, I don't think anybody has a chance to win, but I have to go back and check. That's pretty insane. These playoffs have been wild. The playoffs have had the three highest winning teams. That's the Orioles, Braves, and Dodgers go a combined 1-9 in the postseason. 1-9, guys. Playoff baseball is just a whole nother animal. It's absolutely crazy. But just real quick, just because we haven't talked about it much, I went 0-4 in my series bets in divisional round. It was ugly. Almost won that most runs scored in the Atlanta Phillies series. If they would have just went to Game 5, I think we would have had that pretty easy. Would have been a nice plus money winner, but you know what? It didn't happen. Dodgers sucked. Everyone just sucked. But it is what it is. That's why we love baseball too. So, real quick, our NBA preview and best bets video for futures in the Western Conference. That video will be out this week in the next day or so. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we got Eastern Conference video coming right behind it. Finals predictions, sleeper teams, etc., etc. It was a lot of fun to talk basketball. It is right around the freaking corner, baby. That's right. So, in this video, because I haven't done it yet, I'm going to preview the NLCS series and give you my favorite series bet. And then also, we will do good hitter matchups, pitcher report, and then best bets for both game one in that Phillies game series and game two of the Rangers and Astros after the Rangers just took a 1-0 lead. So, before we get into all of it and we talk some baseball, hit that like button, guys. Help this channel grow. We're getting close to 7,000. Cannot thank you enough. This has been an incredible journey, and we're getting to the end of our first full MLB season. It's been a lot of fun. So hit like, subscribe, comment if you're new to subscribe if you're new to the channel. Comment just all the time. That would be great. Just a daily comment, and some of you guys are doing it, and it's freaking awesome. You guys are the reason why this channel is growing. So I'm ready to go. Enough with the babbling. Let's start out with those good hitter matchups. All right, for the two games, we have 8 good hitter matchups for you today. And there we go. We start with that Texas-Houston game. We got Simeon, 9 for 31, 2 home runs. Tavares, bottom of the order hitter, 8 for 23 with a double. And then Alex Bregman, 8 for 19, 3 doubles and a bomb versus Eovaldi. And then how about this? Yordan Alvarez, guys, 8 for 11, 3 doubles and 1 home run versus Nathan Eovaldi. 8 for 11 is insane. It's just absolutely crazy. And then the other side, Christian Walker, how about 9 for 17? Not too shabby himself. 3 doubles and a home run versus Zach Wheeler. And then Tommy Pham, 5 for 11 with a home run. Ketel Marte, 4 for 10 with a double and a home run. And he has a hit in every postseason game this year so far. And then Bryce Harper, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. October, 4 for 12, 1 double versus Zach Gallon of Milk. That's what we got for the hitter matchups. Now, let's check out the pitcher report. All right, there they are, guys. We start out with Nathan Eovaldi and Framber Valdez. We're going to talk about head-to-head and how they did against each other later on in this video, but, pretty similar expected ERAs. Eovaldi's been pretty good lately, but if you see the numbers, hits per 9, walks, Ks, everything's pretty even. Eovaldi missed a chunk of the season, and Framber Valdez had a better first half than second half, but that should be a good matchup. We'll dive more into that later. And then Gallon versus Wheeler. Advantage Wheeler, in my opinion, especially at Citizens Bank Park, where Wheeler throws the ball even better. And Zach Gallen struggles a little more on the road, but he's been good in the postseason, so we haven't seen much of that. So another good pitching matchup. Two guys that can strike out a lot of hitters, have a very low walk rate. Really two similar matchups in both games. So should be a lot of fun to watch, but that is the pitcher report. Take a screenshot. Hopefully that helps get you guys some winners. And now it's time to dive into the best bets. All right, let's talk a little NLCS. We got the Phillies series money line at -175, D-backs series money line at +150. Again, this is just a series. We're going to talk game one here in a second, but Phillies won the season series 4-3. They played a lot of one-run games. I think even a couple extra inning games. Let's start out with the starters real quick. See what I did there? Anyways, both teams have a two-headed monster. We got Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler, and Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly on the other side. It's a best-of-7 series now, so the depth in your rotation is going to be tested. And we're talking Brandon Pfaadt for the D-backs, who apparently looked like the best pitcher ever against the Dodgers in his second start. And then Ranger Suarez, who looked really good against the Braves in that series. So we're going to see what happens there. But edge and experience to me goes to the Phillies, guys. They just went to the World Series last year. It is hard to play at Citizens Bank Park, and we've seen Zach Gallen struggle a little bit on the road this year. He looked good last round, so I'm not expecting him to get torn up or blown up or anything like that. But I just like the two-headed monster for Philly, and I like that crowd, the home field advantage. But either way, starters, I give the advantage to Philly, but both have top two pitchers that are pretty dynamite. Both bullpens have been solid in playoffs. How about the D-backs? 1.77 ERA and 20.1 innings in this postseason so far. Phillies, 1.45 ERA and 18.2 innings. You want to know why these two teams are still alive? How about ERAs under 2 in the bullpen so far? It's crazy. Phillies have more depth in the bullpen, but both are pitching well. So, I mean, current form, it's hard to really lean one way or the other. Lineups. Both lineups have been really good so far. We're talking the Phillies WRC plus in this postseason, 137, which is first in all the playoff teams. D-backs 133, which is third. And both teams, get this, are tied for the most home runs in the playoffs so far this year at 13. That's right. These two teams have been just launching the freaking ball. Now, that's the series. Just to give you guys some info and background, I got two bets. I'm going to go with a half unit each for series bets. Here we go. This first one's a little interesting. Bryce Harper, most home runs in the NLCS. That's right, a plus 750 for this guy. Half unit. He has 3 home runs in the playoffs already. He is the new Mr. October, guys. He is unbelievable. He is just magical when you watch him. He was the guy who sent the Phillies pretty much to the World Series last year with that epic home run that will live in Phillies history forever. He just hit, like I said, he's hit 3 bombs already. He is not afraid of this big stage at all, that's for sure. So I think he has a good chance. I mean, we're talking maybe Schwarber, Castellanos, Christian Walker. There's guys that are going to compete with him, but plus 750, guys. That's insane to have the most home runs. So give me Bryce Harper to shine once again. And the next one, another half unit. I was kind of torn on which side to go with this series. Phillies money line minus 170 is just too. You just don't bet minus 170. So I'm going to go Phillies minus 1.5 games. I think they are on just a path of destruction right now, and they are really, really hard to beat at the bank. I mean, that crowd is insane. Zach Gallen and those young boys on Arizona, I know they've played well so far. They've beat the Dodgers, who choke every single year in the playoffs. Nothing to take away from the D-backs. They've played well, and I'm impressed. But this Phillies team is another step up. I mean, you saw what they did last year in the playoffs. You're seeing what they did now. They dismantled the Atlanta freaking Braves. Give me the Phillies minus 1.5 games at plus 120 as my second half unit place. So that's what I got. 2 half unit plays for the series. And now let's talk game one. All right, let's talk game one matchup now between these teams. We got Zach Gallen and Zach Wheeler. It's the Zach attack, baby. That's right. D-backs hitting versus Wheeler. Their entire lineup and roster hitting 281 in 103 plate appearances. And the Phillies lineup versus Zach Gallen is hitting 234 and 74 plate appearances. Doesn't probably tell you a lot, but just want to point that out. Zach Gallen versus the Phillies this year, 5.2 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, and 3 strikeouts in that one start. Zach Wheeler versus the Arizona Diamondbacks this year. 12 innings pitched, a total of 4 earned runs and 10 Ks. Now, let's get into the bet. Enough of the mumbo jumbo. Let's get into the bet, and I like this bet. Here we go. It is a same game parlay. Phillies money line and the under 10.5 at plus 100 on FanDuel. Phillies money line, real quick. Zach Wheeler, I've already mentioned, he's looked so dominant in the postseason. In the last 2 postseasons, he has an ERA of 2.59. He is a big game pitcher, and that's over 8 starts. If you watched him last game, it's impressive, guys. When he is on, he is freaking unhittable. And the beauty about him is that he never really hurts himself. He has a low walk rate, as you saw in the pitcher report, under 6. And he's just very trustworthy at home. And then you got Zach Gallen on the mound. I'm not going to sit here and say he's a bad pitcher because he's looked really good too. But this Phillies lineup is a different animal. Like I mentioned, this Citizens Bank Park is a different animal. I think the Phillies are going to be able to get to him for a few runs here. I think Wheeler can shut down this smoking hot D-backs lineup too, just enough. So I think the Phillies can win this game. And now as for the under 9.5, the original line's at 7.5, which is crazy when you think of these two teams have hit 13 home runs each. They're two of the best hitting teams right now in the playoffs. Well, there's only 4 teams left, so that makes sense. But the line is still 7.5. That just shows how good these pitchers could be. I went all the way up to 9.5, or sorry, 10.5. I don't know why I said 9.5. I went all the way up to 10.5 and took the under just to reduce the juice and get to even money. You can take 9.5, 8.5, or 7.5 if you want. I think this game has a 4-2 feel, honestly. You got two of the elite pitchers for each team, like we already talked about. The bullpens are fully rested. You're only going to get the best of the best out there for each team. So I just think this has a lower scoring feel to it. And you know what? If they do go over that 7.5 line, I'm okay as long as they stay under 10.5. So give me the Phillies money line and the under 10.5 at plus 100 on FanDuel as my best bet in this game. And now let's move on to the Rangers versus the Astros. All right, here we go. Game two of the ALCS. We got the Astros money line minus 120, Rangers money line plus 100 with an over under of 8.5 runs. Rangers taking a 1-0 lead in the series with a 2-0 victory. Crazy to see these two offenses only score 2 runs, but man, the Rangers are on a freaking mission now, 6-0 in the playoffs. But in this matchup, we got Nathan Eovaldi versus Framber Valdez. Eovaldi versus the Astros this year in 2 starts. First, he pitched 1.1 innings and gave up 4 earned runs, but that was his first start in like 1.5 months. He was on a pitch count anyways, so take it for what it is. Later on, after that, he threw 7 innings, 0 earned runs, 5 Ks in that game. Framber Valdez against the Rangers, 6 innings, 5 runs, but only one of those was earned with 7 Ks. 3.2 innings, 6 earned runs, and 7 innings, 1 earned run. So kind of a mixed bag. Overall, 12 runs, but only 8 earned runs. But still, he's very hittable. He's been inconsistent this year. We're going to get right into my best bet. Again, it's another same game parlay. I'm getting creative. When you only have one game to look at or 2 games to look at, you got to get creative. As opposed to looking at 15 games, you have so many options. And by the way, I didn't have any pitcher props or anything like that were out yet when I was doing this video. So here we go. Here's my best bet. We got Marcus Semien, 1+ hit, and the over 6.5 at minus 120 on FanDuel. Now, Simeon 1+ hit. He's seen Valdez a lot, as you saw from the hitter matchups, going 9 for 31 against them. He's hit lefties better this season. He's hit lefties better in his career. And going into this series, Marcus Simeon 22 for 51 versus the Astros this season. That is unbelievable. He is the Astros daddy, except for the 0 for 4 he just went in game one. But he loves hitting against the Astros. He's very familiar with them, hitting at the top of the order to have another chance to get that extra at bat. I think he bounces back from the 0 for 4 and gets a hit here. Now, the next one, over 6.5. Yes, that's me playing it safe again. The original line is 8.5. I'm taking 6.5. I think it has a chance to go over 8.5. These two offenses are so good. It's going to be hard to keep them down 2 games in a row. Like I said, both hitters are familiar with these pitchers, with Eovaldi, with Valdez. So I just see both these offenses really starting to get going here a little bit. All we need is 7, guys. 4-3 gets us over this, and we're talking 2 of the best offenses in the majors. So I like Simeon to get a hit. I like the over 6.5 as my best bet in this game. Put it together, you get minus 120. There we go. We are now set for Monday baseball, playoff baseball. That's right. We got the bets recap. Let's go check it out. All right, there it is. Number one is the series bets in the NLCS. Both of them are only a half unit for me. We got Bryce Harper, most home runs, so at plus 750. Phillies minus 1.5, games at plus 120. And then the game bets. Phillies money line under 10.5 at plus 100 on FanDuel. And Marcus Semien, 1+ hit, and the over 6.5 at minus 120. There it is. We got a huge Monday with Monday Night Football and 2 LCS games. It is going to be a lot of fun. Go sit on the couch and watch these games. We have the Monday Night Football preview and best bets video about to be out, so be sure to check that out. We'll do a Week 6 recap and all that. But enjoy your Monday. Thanks again for the support, and we'll talk to you soon.